Welcome to unDavos. My name is Mandy McReynolds. I'll be the MC for this panel session, which we're very delighted to have. What an incredible time to have a discussion around the role of the Chief Sustainability Officer post over 100 plus global elections. Well, you've made it to unDavos, whether you've been here, I've talked to someone for 2 hours, or someone for a couple days, my friend that we were sitting at dinner together the other night. I want you to take a moment, and I want you to think beyond Davos, and think about this question. As you head into 2025, what is going to be the one value you plan to uphold, no matter what? No matter the environment, no matter political uncertainty, what is the one value you wish to uphold? Now, in true unDavos fashion, go ahead and turn to the person next to you and in one word, tell them the one value you want to uphold. Go ahead. We'll give you 1 minute. Share the air. All right. So now we're going to turn it to our esteemed panelists. Thank you so much in an unDavos format to do that with those sitting next to you. And we're each going to answer that question as we introduce ourselves. So as you look ahead and the role of Chief Sustainability Officer or CEO, whatever your role is in the executive suite at your company, through 2025, through political uncertainty, economic challenge, what is the one value you wish to uphold? And we'll just go right down the line.
Coherence in responsibility.
Mine is future readiness.
It doesn't work? Does it work? Oh, yeah. I monopolized one. I would say eagerness to learn and eagerness to educate.
Yes, and I would say mine would be collaboration. I think we've gotten this far with partnership, and the only way forward is partnership. So let's move beyond. One of the interesting pieces at Workiva, we're a global software company. We support the world in risk finance and sustainability reporting. And we believe in the voice of practitioners like yourself, the voice of the C-suite guiding where innovation will go. And post the 100 plus global elections, right after the US election, we went out into the entire world to individuals like yourself, and we said, what are you thinking about when it comes to climate disclosure and sustainability? Are you, in your regulatory environment, what are you thinking? And over 85% of executives, CEOs and others said, we are going to move forward regardless. Now, that may not be the noise that's in the environment today, but that is something that they are because they're leaning into this idea of industry and business performance. So I would love to hear from the panelists, how as we move forward through the new regulatory environment, do we focus on industry performance? And what examples do you have in your areas?
Maybe I'll introduce myself. I'm Anna Gawlikowska, Dr. Anna, usually named as. I'm CEO of Swiss AI. We actually are one of the most complex models of the world out there. We've been building it for 15 years. We model each single person without tracking them. And we basically morph the reality around future infrastructures, policies, business cases, and see how people will react to unprecedented change. So from that space, what just happened is a change. It's precedented. We all knew it's going to come. Of course, the list which came yesterday was not fully expected. It was partially expected. I feel it's not just CEOs or CSOs or C-suite, but it's about everybody. Hold to your truth. And for us, I mean, in our business case, change is good because we are one of the only ones who can model it, not data fit it. But I was actually very inspired by the former chairman of Aramco today, who said they will keep on going. They will lead it. They want to be, 50% green. And they're stabilizing. And it's kind of the switch, in my mind, Because I was looking at them at oil people. But now I'm saying maybe that oil is a stabilization to provide us a space where we can transform. So I would say keep on being an inspirational leader and keep on leading the transformation, no matter what, 2025 and beyond.
Thank you very much, Anna. So quickly introducing myself, I'm Rainer, I'm based in Munich. I'm founder and CEO of Hotprint, which is a boutique consultancy, which is bringing digital and sustainable at the same time towards small, medium-sized businesses. The last 27 years, I have been the pleasure working in big corporates. In the last, in Allianz Technology as Chief Sustainability and Chief Human Rights Officer. And I do have a bit of a specific role due to my IT background. So I've started my career in 1997 at IBM, and since then I'm very much focused on digital and automation as a foundation. And back to your question, I think one of the most crucial roles we as CSOs, as Chief Sustainability Officers, which I do have beside my day-to-day job, so to say, in sustainableiT.org, which is a non-financial, non-commercial based in the US. In the meantime, 120 member companies bringing value in regard of responsible AI and sustainability in IT and through IT to everyone in an open source base. The thing is, from my point of view, we are so far way too much treating things in a manual way. And if it comes to regulatory, if it comes to compliance, if it comes to whatever we need to have to steer, we need transparency. And transparency comes from data. And data is something which we need to treat in a fully automated way to, one of the side, bring up a transparency in a speedy way and in a fast enough way. And on the other side, we need to release people who are focused on what they should do. Currently, the experience in sustainability and environmental aspects is very much distracted through regulatories. We have, if you take CSRD, at least at the current state, it might change what we've just heard over the last 2 days, but at the moment it's a sheer amount of 1,150 KPIs you need to report on. How should you do that in Excel or in PowerPoint or whatever it might be? That still doesn't work, and it is the case. I have seen that in so many corporates. Prior to Allianz, I did work for Siemens more than 10 years. There is 61,000 tier 1 suppliers. If we receive data from them to create transparency for supply chain, you can't manage that in a manual way like it is today, because those people who should take influence, the environmental experts, sustainability experts, are completely distracted. So I would like to bring IT to the table. I would like to involve, as CSO, somebody who is then supporting a digital aspect as well. And AI, as we've had that already, can play a crucial role in that.
Thank you, Wendy. So my name is Victoria. I'm based in Switzerland, but work with a Ukraine-based business. And so Epicenter Group, we operate in retail, agriculture, renewable energy, manufacturing, logistics, supply chain. So all sectors like dream of sustainability professional, like when it comes to reporting especially. Coming back to your questions, Wendy, war didn't stop us. So how this can stop us? There is no way. And especially operating in this challenging environment for past 3 years, we saw the even bigger need to implement sustainable practices in our operations. We build more solar stations, so we cover 30% of our need with green energy. We started to look more into recycling. For example, in our ceramic tile manufacturing, we have only 10% waste, from 5 to 10 actually. So everything is reused. We started to use material produced from recyclable goods in our construction. So it pushed us even more towards sustainable way. And it showed us that there are actually even more benefit. So that's what I was saying at the beginning, eagerness to learn and eagerness to educate. I think the issue is here that not everyone understands what value sustainable practices are bringing to your business. And we need to focus into bringing this bias and show that this is something that is going to help you to succeed.
So as those sitting in the audience, what I appreciate about everyone talking through where the business performance value is, it's like every other business case. You have to pause for a moment and you have to think about the risk tolerance, the resiliency, as you mentioned, the innovation, which might have some cost initially, or the opportunity in which you went as a way forward to prove out business measurement and business metrics. Now, I'm curious from the audience, if you had to have a moment and you directed where C-suite or chief sustainability officers put more of their time in 2025, do you think it should be around risk performance, opportunity performance, or should it be about the investment in cost to maybe have a payoff in the future? Where would you put most of your time? Risk, opportunity, or cost in 2025? Yes, go ahead. What did you say? Opportunity. What do others think in the room? Cost? Right here, cost? Tell us more. You have to do all three. Absolutely. You have got to invest. You got to invest. Mm-hmm. Very fair. You can be neutral. You can pick all. Yes. $100%. Actually, we just wrote an article with my CFO, and we talk about we're travel buddies, and we're sharing an apartment this week, and we've learned a lot from traveling together. 100%.
And if I may pick up on that, please, Mandy, I 100% agree. In IT, we talk about a persona-based principle. So CSOs need to adapt to depending on who they are talking to. If I go to my CFO, the one who needs to sign off CSRD, then it's a different language, it's a different type of speaking, whether I go to the CEO or to a COO. So I think this is a think of what we have to always keep in mind as CSOs, as Chief Sustainability Officers. I've heard a term yesterday which did fit quite well to me. CSO might stand for Chief Sales Officer as well. So we are selling what we're doing, and this is very much on who's buying.
And go
yes,
ahead.
If
go
I
ahead.
may, just to follow on what you said, is working in a company that has very diversified businesses, I can 100% agree that if you don't have everybody on board, you can't push it further. Like you will stuck at some point. You can succeed and bring everybody to follow your sustainability strategy only if you have everybody on board.
Value associated with sustainability instead of actually persuading the CFO in the important language that they care about why. And that could be things as simple as how do you use accounting standards like IFRS 9 to book carbon onto the balance sheet. It could be something different along the lines of how do you justify the activities you're engaged in. And every time I've seen a CSO talk in that language and have that relationship with a CFO or a treasurer, the advancement of their goals speeds massively faster.
100%. Go ahead, please.
I look at it as a multi-body problem. So we've got, the sustainability measures, but if they are looked in vacuum, then there's no discussion really. I mean, yes, there is value. Okay, how do we do this? Let's have some, common sense and plan to set it up. In our system, it's not just opportunity. The moment you start modeling futures, you can measure for risks, you can measure for return on investment, you can measure for decarbonization, you can measure for quality of life. Depending who you are, you will have different measures, and if you are able, in that multi-body problem, to visualize complex systems, not simple, verticals, by complex holistic systems, which we are as societies, cities. We model cities, for example, of tomorrow. And then really have a discussion which is number-based, rather than value is good, but value is an axis. And on that axis, I want to see the numbers. And I want to see it in multi-dimension to be able to talk to the suites. And I feel that there's too many C-suites. I don't know, sorry, but I feel we need much more coherence across, because the problems are actually combined. And once they are seen only from one perspective, we're missing out on the actual values, the numbers. total numbers.
So as we talk about the numbers, there's two sides of this, particularly as we think about the business performance side, which we were talking about, as well as then the environmental impact side. And I'm curious from your different perspectives, where have you seen advancements in truly moving the needle on environmental impact as businesses are looking at the opportunities, the risk, and the cost among those?
So maybe if I may start again with an IT example. As I've said, I'm from Germany, so if we're good in one thing beside having the glass half empty all the time, so that's quite usual for us, we're good in regulating and coming up with laws and whatever type of a thing we might have and criticizing it. One thing which I've seen recently is the energy efficiency law, which we have for data centers, for example. So we're one of the first countries in the world where we have to focus on energy efficiency and water efficiency, heat waste, all those things in a data center surrounding. So if you're talking on IT, then transparency again is key. And if that is coming up with reducing energy, back to your point earlier, we are reducing cost as well. So this is the door opener, exactly as you said it. If I'd like to talk and convince my CFO to invest something into somewhere, then we need to have a return on invest calculation. That comes definitely with such kind of a thing. So politics, they gave us the framing, they gave us the idea, and now we have the right foundation to build up on top. And this is something which, from my point of view, technology is definitely supporting and pushing further, not just for data centers, but buildings, hotels like here. So there is a big, big win in all directions.
Yes, I would say that actually following on your point about value, collaboration, it's very important in this regard that we have private-public collaboration here between regulations and private sector. Because from one side, they impose so much regulations on us, but then we don't have always tools. So from other side, it can be sometimes all of a sudden. For example, in Ukraine now, we are not obliged to report, but it can come anytime. So our strategy was to start doing it ourselves. So when we are obliged regulatory, we are ready. But so for this, I think, and talking also to a lot of my colleagues, we all come to the conclusion that, okay, if you want us to report, if you want us to provide all that information, that please talk to us while you're creating the frameworks. Because I don't want to walk around the office and count how many pens I use and ask each employee. We have 38,000 employees. I cannot ask everyone who came by bicycle, car, or bus, or carpool, or I don't know what else. So I think if these frameworks are created in collaboration of both parties, then we can succeed more. And then those numbers, that's the other side of the question, can use to convince others how important it is to implement sustainability.
And if I may enhance on what you said, and I think you said that earlier as well, we need to have all hands on deck. And in former roles I've had in the big enterprises, I used to be a bit of a painkiller. With me, sustainability didn't hurt that much any longer, and that resulted in that everybody was pointing towards that CSO role, and that guy is making it more sustainable, but everybody else kept going with what they've done before, and this is not how it works. We need to have collaboration, we need to bring everybody with us, and into that, I think the major role of CSOs is to translate the language, the acronyms which we are quite used to, into something which is understood by everyone.
I would like to follow a little bit on the numbers and what I said before, because I take the AI position so in the room a bit. And I feel that AI is one of the greatest platforms we have as humanity these days to support us in our challenge, or challenges. So the numbers is financials, but it's also optimization. So at this point, we have $4.5 trillion a year to be spent to reach our decarbonization goals, just to give you an example. There is commitments to 300 billion. That's not going to take us much farther, which means we have to make these investments profitable. And how do we get that to there? Can we get AI optimize the complex systems and not verticals? To me, sustainability is not just one company. It's a community around, for example, energy systems. So we've got, pipelines, we've got hydrogens, we've got power purchase agreements, we've got traders, we've got all the stakeholders And they all have to, make their businesses work. And while having the most optimal solution, how do you inflict the optimal solution into the complex multi-body system? And how do you optimize? And can you get AI help you? And then can a CSO get the funding for usage of such system to help business run profitable transformational projects?
So as we talk about the profitable transformation projects, and I was a beta user on our own AI Assist, and I can say that part of it is thinking about innovation as it helps with the manual labor. But then CISOs can really get busy working on the impact to the business beyond just the cost savings or the human capital savings. When I look ahead to future innovations, to your point, where is it going to take us where it can have both this business impact and environmental impact? And I'm curious from our panelists, as you look ahead, what is an innovation and a practicality of it that you think can really move the needle on both business performance and environmental impact?
If I may, I'm so happy that we have Dr. Anna with us today, because I think that, yes, what we are all looking for, it's tools powered by AI that would, not facilitate our job or do our job instead of us, but support us in doing our job. We don't need somebody to do it. We need support to do it good. Because we all have the same goal. We all want to make this planet better, life better. When we go to classics definition of sustainability, yes, simply said that these resources can be used generations after. So I see these tools, AI powered tools, and AI coming on stage, that's something that can help us to actually do our job and to fulfill our mission.
Well, I was once asked quite a question. I was asked, we have $1 trillion, how can we help you? And I looked at the guy and I said, well, you have $1 trillion, you're going to spend it. You're going to spend it, you have to spend it soon. And you're going to be stuck with the concrete for maybe 6 generations to go. I feel we are in some pivotal times, humanity times right now, where we are taking very big decisions. And it's clear we have to take these decisions. So we at Swiss AI are part, perhaps, of a solution. That's what I believe we are, because we've been getting ready for 15 years, 12 of it at ETH Zurich. And that takes quite a bit of work, to get ready with actual AI rather than scratch the surface LLM, which are great. But, physics is what drives us. Physics is what drives, for example, energy systems. Not hallucination. It's physics. So physics requires math. And that takes time, and that takes great dedication of an amazing team. But the challenges are massive, and I do believe in AI, which is focused on ethical transformation. I think it's very important to build the platforms these days, asking ourselves a question always, what are we building them for? And what can they be used for, perhaps? So quite a responsible chief sustainability AI officer, sort of. We are building this thing as we speak. It's being born. What are we feeding it with and why? What tasks are we giving it, really? I feel we have to give it tasks which are the biggest challenges of our generation.
Thank you, Anna. So one thing which you probably might not expect as an answer to your question, what I'm seeing as a technology which is definitely helping us is media, pictures, and visuals. What we need from my point of view in regard of communicating what we are doing in a way like it's been understood, as I've said earlier, is something which can help us in that regard. And just doing a bit of little advertisement, we have one example here in the room, Planet Wild, which is a Berlin-based startup, and what they do literally is they just show the positive things of what's already been done. And this is something which, if you're in the CSO world, you're quite quite rapidly depressed because, I mean, this is an overwhelming amount of challenges quite ahead of us. And what we need to have is motivation, and that motivation often comes with pictures and good practice examples. And if I just talk about it, it's about storytelling, but if I can see it, if I can visualize it, if I can feel it, then it can help. And this can help to either translate our language into something which is then being understood. So this is what I see, and that's a technology which is there, which we can make use of, nothing we have to wait for, and this can be definitely a good layer to enhance what Anna said in regard of AI and make a responsible use of AI. And this is something I'd like to bring up as well. Over the last 2 days, this had been on various different panels, and I'm glad it is, that AI comes with a cost. And we have to make, exactly as you said it, a wise use of it, because it's not only consuming a lot of energy, it's not only requiring a lot of new data centers, it's requiring a lot of water, for example, for cooling purposes and for building the chips and all that things. So I'm not against AI, not at all. I'm 100% with you. We need to have it, and it can be definitely beneficial, but we need to use it wisely and responsibly.
If I may just follow quickly on what you said. I like what you said, Anna, that what we are feeding it. I once heard a phrase that technology is as good as the person who pushes the button. Exactly what you said, what we are feeding it. And following on what you said, that if we all, and coming back to collaboration, what we started with, if we all come together, I think the narrative we should go away from is competitiveness and come into joint efforts. If we all join efforts, public, private sector into developing frameworks, practitioners and engineers into developing tools, I think that the common effort will actually help us to succeed.
And I love where each of you went. One of the pieces that we think about with responsible AI and in our area as well is that kind of a beta user, we look at making sure that companies, especially CSOs, take a step back and think about 2 formulations in the next 2 years of the practicality. Everybody hold up your phone. Who has a phone with them, right? You're in the audience, you have your phone, right? The first couple years this thing came out, did we know what it would do for us today that it does today? No. Did you think you would get your Uber here or the train ride here from your phone? Absolutely not. AI is the same way, and chief sustainability officers, CFOs, CTOs coming together and saying, what form of the AI do we want in open source that can build the collaboration that is needed? And then what's the framework that we need for the secure source of AI? So for example, when we look at compliance and you talk about regulatory risk and financial data all coming together, you actually can't have a model feed a model, because then it could be pushing out proprietary information beyond the bounds of security, which would actually not be great for you as a company. And so it's balancing that and who is the provider that makes sure that there is that security around there. And that's one of the pieces that we look at when we look at the financial data coming in from companies and have that security there. So I think it's this idea of the responsible AI. Let's learn from the lessons of the past, but let's think about it from what can be open and then what needs to be closed as we head into 2025. As we wrap up this session, we're a little bit faster because we know our next panel needs to come on because they've got a speaker that has to run out the door as well. I'd love to make this more about you as we close. So we have a podcast that's called ESG Talk. It goes in 140 countries with over 100,000 listeners, top 10% content. And we build that content around people like you, people who attend unDavos, and like our panelists for practitioners. So I would love to know, based on these 3 areas, which one would you want us to talk more about at unDavos next year? Environmental impact, business performance, or innovation? Let's show of hands. Do you want more business performance next year? We got one. Woo! Okay, environmental impact. We've got a couple of hands. Innovation. Innovation, environmental impact. Well, now we have the challenge as panelists. So panelists, as we close, what is your one word only, that you want to leave the room with?
Act from the center.
Pragmatism.
No pressure at all. I will be simple. Collaboration.
Clearly. And I would say engage. So whether you engage, act from the center, collaboration, and I forgot. Pragmatism. It was a little bit difficult for this afternoon for me. But thank you, everyone. Have a fabulous unDavos, and we'll turn it over to the next panel.
Thank you.